2017, lost really. Didn't really know, was in the music industry for a decade and that was all good, but it was like highs and lows. And it dawned on me, I was soon to be 30, like I had no mortgage, I had debt, I had a stupid car that I brought cash that I shouldn't have, and I realized I didn't have a sustainable income, I didn't have a pension, didn't have retirement, I didn't really have it figured out. And I knew that I needed to make a change. And property, after exploring loads of things, property felt like the right thing to do. The thing with rent to rent that I liked was I was able to find a property, solve a problem that the landlord had, and over 2 weeks, I'd be able to refurb that property, furnish that property, create something amazing, which was still a bit creative, which I liked, get it out there in terms of marketing, and instantly see the result. And I feel like, for me, like a lot of things were out of my hands, but this was in my hands. I put in the work, and then 3 weeks later, I was getting money coming in. And when I when I saw that happen, the penny dropped. I was like, so hang on a minute, if I just keep doing this, I'm just gonna keep adding to it. And that's what I did. I literally did 20 deals in year one, and I guess the rest is history. I think it was mad, because in music, I got a rush, but this was a different rush. Because I like the chase of the landlord and the adventure and going to a property and seeing it was empty and like looking in the windows and like seeing how many lettable rooms there might be, and then getting on LandReg and searching for the landlord, and then not finding the landlord but finding the landlord's son, and then speaking to the son and getting it is quite exhilarating. And then when I got my first set of keys, and I'll never forget it, I got my first set of keys, I was with Lucy, and the landlord and his wife left, and I was left in this house, like looking at this key, just pinching myself. I was like, this actually works. The story goes like this. I was involved in some property education as a student, and I was part of the community, and I was documenting my journey. I was just documenting it, because that's what you do, and you post it. So I was posting videos and showing potential properties to get feedback and to get help, but also just to showcase. And I started getting blocked. People blocked me from posts. All I was trying to do was help. Just like, hey, this is what I'm doing, guys, you can do it too. So I had no motivation to do it, do you know what I mean? And posts were getting blocked, and I felt like I wasn't getting the support, but I was documenting it, and what I found was people would approach me directly, say, hey, what you're doing is wicked, can you help me? And I was like, I'm still figuring it out myself. But I just thought, I help a few people. I wasn't charging, I was just having a few conversations and saying, this is what I did, give it a go. And then these people started getting results. And more people started hitting me up and saying, I want help. And then what would happen is I would be posting content, and a lot of it would get blocked from the other groups. So I thought, I'm just gonna set up my own group. I'll never forget it. So I set up the Creative Cashflow Facebook group, there's like 10 members, and just started giving my advice on there. Because it's almost a conflict of interest. People are trying to charge for information, and then there's me just giving loads of information out for free. They're like, oh, I need to get rid of this guy. So I stopped posting in those communities, posted in my own, and more people said they wanted help. And then I remember getting some great results for people, and then it occurred to me, do you know what, actually, I could spend more time on this, charge a little bit, and help people, but actually care, actually help. So I had these people on my WhatsApp, and I'd support them, and I'd help them, and I'd speak to landlords and agents for them and get amazing results. And I just started feeling really rewarded, because I could see I was making a difference, and it wasn't about the money, it was just about helping.
How did that feel?
It felt great.
Why?
Just because I think in the music industry, it's different. Like, I wasn't making Adele music. Like, nobody was like coming to my show saying, oh my gosh, your song saved me from this breakup. Like, yeah, dubstep, man, just raving. Do you know what I mean? No one was saying that. So when all of a sudden people were in tears saying, Simon, you've helped me transform my life, I was like, wow, this is like impactful. So then I realized it's not necessarily how many people you reach, but it's how you reach them. So I could be performing in front of 60,000 people and them not even think about me the next day. Or I could help 6 people change their life. People like getting mortgages, people like putting their kids through private school, people being able to quit their job, people able to leave abusive relationships and be financially independent. I was like, wow, this is powerful. So obviously I started, it was just me. Do you know what I mean? And then I think I must have got a little bit of help on the social media side, got a bit of help on the content side, got a bit of help in terms of some of the infrastructure and the educational side, because before it was just me winging it. Like, we had no resources, we had no syllabus, it was just me winging it. But then I realized that one of my biggest issues with property education is the vast majority of people I see there, they do like 3 deals and then try and mentor on it. Like, you're not ready to mentor. Like, you've not even changed your life yet. So I was one of the only people I saw out there that had, to this day, I've done over 70 rent-to-rent deals for myself, had a team of 10, was doing 7 figures revenue in my business. And then it felt like I had a duty to help because I'm actually doing it. I've been doing it. So when I started doing the content, it just felt so more authentic. Loads of the programs were just about how to get a deal, but then not what happens when you get a deal, not what happens when you need to try and systemize it because you're just going to get another job. And then what really jarred me was, I'll never forget it, in the early stages, people would come to me on other people's programs saying, Simon, I've spent 10 grand, but I'm not getting the support. I've spent 30 grand, but I'm not getting the help. And I felt like I would help them for free and they'd get results. And then I realized this whole run to the back of the room thing, this whole come to a weekend course, but all we're going to do is upsell you. This whole, yeah, okay, do the course, but then we're not really going to give you the decent content or the decent support because we're not doing it and we just want to make a quick buck. I was like, no, I'm not having that. So then I started going more all in on it. I started investing more heavily in the content, getting more of my best friends that are academically in the top in their industry to come and build something special. And that's why there's nobody else like us. When we was writing the core values, it was literally like, how can we be like no one else in a good way? So one of our core values is value over everything. That's why we give so much stuff away for free. Like, people hit me up, they're like, Si, like, you give so much free information out, I can't imagine how good your paid stuff is. Like, over 500 videos on YouTube, like hundreds of podcasts, like so much free information across the socials. And the reason we do that is because we want to give value over everything. We actually want to care, be good humans. I speak to some people, they spent money on a course, they've been hit with cancer, they're on chemo, and they ain't giving them a refund. It's like, aren't we here to help? Like, it's just, so we had to change that. So if anybody, and then on top of that as well, like in terms of rent to rent specifics, I wanted to be a scientist with it. I wanted to study it on the deepest level. And then we got Guy involved, educational consultant who's got 10 years experience in education, to start designing this stuff in my mind so that you can replicate it, and the results we're getting are massive. We've got thousands of deals for people, tens of millions of pounds of rent-to-rent revenue, SA and HMO, all around the country and beyond. We've got people across Europe and beyond now getting amazing results. And it's exciting. We obviously launched a super conference to build a community of people, and the reaction there, at one point there was 300 people in the room. A lot of them were part of our community. I said, stand up if you got a deal. Half the room stood up. And then the results we're getting are amazing. And most importantly, the community we're building is like-minded people that actually care. And it's not about the money, it's about the change.
It is an idea for you, and I'll put my voice in this as well. Like, what is your response to somebody that's going, Simon's just doing this to make some money, and he's like everybody else, he's just doing it in a different way?
There's always going to be people that think that. And I see some of the comments on the older Facebook and stuff, gives me jokes. Like, I just see things like scam. Like, I feel like, I've said this once and I'll say it again. I built a 7-figure rent-to-rent business. I shared my bank accounts on lives. I shared my QuickBooks. I actually did it. Okay, and I've reinvested that money into assets I own. So I've got nothing to prove. I don't have to do this now. I can stop right now. Sometimes I feel like stopping and just chilling on a beach. But I've now got this purpose of helping other people, and that's why I do it. And it is what it is. And if you want to check my company's house, my SPV, you'll see the assets and you'll see we're scaling. That's what it is. And do you know what? Just to add to that last point, in fairness, I am making money, but when I actually calculated the prices and when I looked at the figures, the average rent-to-rent deal makes 50 grand across a 5-year term. My most successful mentee has got 50 deals. Do the math. What's that? 50 grand, 500 grand, that's like 2.5 million pound of value created. I'm not charging 2.5 million, so half the time I feel like it is still giving back and I'm creating so much value because we're getting the results. Yeah, I mean, getting to change other people's lives on this level, especially in this climate, it brings me to tears some days. I get phone calls from people that it just hits differently. Or sometimes when I watch case studies or testimonials or meet people at the retreat and the way they resonate and the changes we've made for them is unbelievable, because people are in a lot of pain. People are in a lot of pain, and to see that change. I remember during the pandemic, one gentleman in particular, older guy, close to retirement, wanted to do rent to rent, and was in a bit of a bad situation at the time, got him through that, completely changed his life, and that's happening all the time now. So yeah, the future, we just want to help as many people as possible, and we want to make it affordable so that more people can do it. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I know we are breaking the mold. I know that we are disrupting. I feel like a lot of property education out there is dated. They're pressure selling, and it's easy to see. You sign it with one person, you never get to see them. It doesn't make sense. I'm on all my calls. I support people. They speak with me. We get results, and I'm excited for the future. Scaling more, helping more people, doing great stuff, and then of course, at the moment it's very rent-to-rent focused, but I've moved to buying my own assets and creating long-term legacy wealth. So helping people actually transition when the time's right for long-term legacy wealth so that they can secure their future.